I don't think we could have a better day to finally have a little bit of rain, since we're going to be enjoying some beautiful reds from Rioja. Just gonna sip on my gin a little bit while we get everyone to join us. If you don't have anything to drink in front of you, please go to the fridge, go to your shelves, grab what you want. If you're having a dry day, love that, pour a cup of tea, and sit back and enjoy the chat. Tonight, we are hosting the lovely, the happy, the smiling Daniel from Paco García in Rioja. But before we welcome him on, which I do see that he is here, which is wonderful, I do just want to say a little bit. I just read a comment from my colleague about giving makeup tips to our next host, Carlos. But I do just want to say a little bit about Humble Grape, if you know who we are, or if perhaps you have joined this chat because you are a wine lover and you are looking to keep educated and entertained during isolation, then I want to let you know about who we are. Humble Grape is a sustainable wine importer we have 5 locations in London that act as wine shops, wine bars, and kitchens. Of course, under the current conditions, they are temporarily closed, but I do have some very exciting news about some small reopenings that I will definitely share with everyone later. And we seek to import winemakers from around the world that take a natural and sustainable approach and that care about what the conditions of the lands are going to be for the future generations. I know Daniel is very active with that, and I'm going to be excited to have him tell us a little bit about that. So I'm just going to send him a little request and get started. I do need to gush. Daniel, hello,
Hi, how you
welcome.
doing?
Good. Is that natural sunlight on you? Is that the sun?
It's the sun.
Oh, my goodness, 7 o'clock in Spain looks wonderful.
We have had 2 weeks really rainy,
Yes.
so today is like the first sunny day in weeks. So it's amazing.
So you know what it's like in London right now.
Yeah.
It's raining.
Yeah,
It's
very
our
rainy.
first rainy day in 2 weeks, so it looks like we swapped. But
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anyone in London or the UK is going to complain, because I think your warm, juicy, vibrant, fruity red wines are going to be fantastic for a rainy evening. So if you don't mind, I just want to introduce Bodegas Paco Garcia a little bit and give you a small, well-deserved introduction.
Of course.
Recently, you were just listed as top 10 wineries in all of Rioja, which is quite an accomplishment considering that Rioja is also one of the only regions outside of Pirat to have a DOCA.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that is awesome. Top region in an entire country, and then top winery in the top region. So basically, we are so honored to have you. Paco Garcia is a family-run winery, and was founded in 2001, and then I know.
Yes.
And then Juan did something quite cool in 2011 and kind of did a research development on maybe why younger generations aren't drinking wine, or maybe why they're not drinking good wine. So I just wanted to give that little introduction so everyone knows who we're talking to and some of the things that we're going to be diving into. But Daniel, maybe you can tell me a bit about you and how you joined Paco Garcia.
Of course. First of all, thank you, Stephanie, and all the team of Humble Grape for the opportunity of being here with all of you.
We are thankful.
So if anybody of you are watching have any question or anything, you can just write it and I will try to answer them. If I cannot pick up the question right in the moment, don't worry, because after the chat, I can answer all the questions.
Oh,
It remains.
great. So we're going to be talking to you for days and weeks and months ahead.
Okay. So about the history of Paco Garcia wineries, we are very proud of our history. So for us, is an honor to be in a winery that is family owned. So at the beginning, as you said, in 2001, the first owners of the winery, they were people strongly related to earth, to vineyard, and to all kind of crops.
Yeah.
So one day they decided not to just sell the grapes, but to make their own wine. So they create a winery and they started doing like a traditional Rioja wine.
So you have had some of the land before you were your own winery.
That's it.
Ah, so that's why some of the vines are 80 years old, even though you've only been a winery since 2001, but these grapes have been yours for decades and decades.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool that the family is not like a rich family or people that has been in wine business for decades, but it's just hardworking people that knew how to work in the vineyard, so they wanted to do the best with the grapes they had. So,
and this is why I know it's very important for you to get the message across that you need good grapes to have good wine, and you have both.
That's it. Yeah, we try our best. We work very hard in the vineyard every year, every day. So for us, it's the better way to have a great wine. So the more you work in the vineyard, the best wine.
The more you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic.
So after that, in 2011, the second generation of the winery. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The second generation of the winery. So there are Juanba and Ana. They were thinking about the wine, about young people drinking wine.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked themselves, why young people is drinking less wine that older people used to do?
Yeah.
So they realized that nowadays people used to drink another kind of drink, not just wine, but beer, Coke, I don't know, gin, whatever.
But not wine, even though it was a wine region.
Yeah. So it's like the palates of young people are used to another kind of flavors, another kind of food, whatever.
Mm.
So they decided to start work in a different way. So it started the revolution of Bodegas Paco García. They designed the new brand with all the hand and everything.
Later, we definitely have questions about that.
Yeah.
so we'll get to the label. Yeah.
For me, is really nice because the hand, we will talk about it later.
Yeah.
But it's like a symbol of the winery itself. So it's pretty cool.
Because I know that you and Juan in 2011 started with the research development to understand why younger generations are not drinking wine as much. But you really can see in everything that you do, you just ooze fun and you just want everyone to have a good time. I had so much fun like sharing your quote about life may not be a party we hoped for, but we're here, so let's dance.
Yeah, that's it.
And your colors are bold, and yeah, so I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to celebrate how much attention you have to having a good time.
Yeah. So for us, as you said, in 2011, when we started the research, we realized that it looks like you have to be an expert to drink wine, and we don't think so. We think.
We don't think so either.
Really? Yeah.
Everyone can be a wine lover.
Yeah, that's it. So why not? You don't have to be an expert. You don't need to be an expert to drink any beverage or to eat any food. So why should be different with wine? So we try to make like softer wines, more fruity wines, fresh wines. So that's it. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need anything. So
I think it's this really maybe stereotype about Rioja, that it's these like really big new oak flavors that are just over the top. But it was interesting because I learned that actually this new oak idea was only introduced in the 1970s. And then it seems as though maybe generations think that it got overdone, and now they want to move away from that to the softer, more elegant, and back to everything that was the root of the family in the beginning, and just let the grapes talk.
Yeah, that's it.
Let the grapes do the talking.
Yeah, we agree. We totally agree with that. So for us, when we started this, that was just the goal. So we are lucky to be in one of the best wine regions in the world.
Yeah.
But we thought that maybe the classical Rioja was a bit far away from young people.
Yeah.
So for us, the revolution is to make Rioja closer to young people.
Cool.
I think people is getting the idea. People are supporting us. So for us, it's amazing. 2011 to now, the winery has been growing up,
which is not much time, because you see these, wineries in Burgundy and generations, but we're talking about 9 years that you have had a mini wine revolution, and it's being supported and celebrated. I mean, your awards on each of your wines say that. Because another thing that I think is quite interesting, and I would love from the winemaker for you to tell us, I know that you have 7 vineyards around Rioja.
Yeah.
7, and then you make 6 wines. Is that correct? Just 6?
Yeah, we do 6 wines, and sometimes we even do like small productions, because we continue researching and looking for new styles and new kind of wines. So we have like 6 established brands, and then we also experimentate with research with another one.
And so across your 7 vineyards, are you blending grapes, or do you have single vineyards, or?
We think that the wine has to come from the vineyard. So when we pick the grapes from each vineyard, we already know which one it will be used for. I don't know. So each vineyard is for one kind of wine production. So we don't mix the vineyards, or we don't.
Oh, interesting. And then what's the 7th one for?
The 7th is for that research. We are trying to introduce like local varieties from Rioja. A part of the most widely spread, they are Tempranillo and Garnacha.
Oh yes, of course.
So we work with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But now we are researching about the use of traditional varieties from Rioja.
What are some of those varieties, or is it top secret?
Like no. It's, for example, one is called Mazuelo. Mazuelo, yes.
Mazuelo.
is historically it has been located in Rioja, but they are not like wines from Mazuelo wines or whatever.
Yeah, so it's usually used in blending or something like that.
At the moment, we are using it for research and looking, because when you establish a vineyard, you have to wait for at least 3 years until the vineyard give grapes to you
that you can use for making wine.
That's it. So that is like a long work. You have to be long-term vision. So
long planning.
Yeah, that's it.
Is anyone in Rioja using the grape Mazuelo as a singular wine, or are they just using it in blending?
Most people have it. If people have it, not many people have that kind of variety. But the people who have it, they use it for blending. They are not like 100% Mazuelo wines or.
Well, this is really exciting, and I hope everyone that is listening takes note because in 10, 12, 15, 30 years, when Marcelo wine is trending around the world, you know that it was pioneered by Paco Garcia. That's very exciting. Are
Yeah.
you, see, your six wines that you make are all red. Is there any plans in making a white wine?
No, we already have one white wine.
Oh, of course you do. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Can you speak about that? Because I think it
Yeah.
for in all of Rioja, what is it like? One white vine is planted for every 7 or every 10 red wines.
Yeah, because I don't know, Rioja maybe grew up in red wines and not that much in white. But for us, it's very interesting because winery is located in a village called Murillo del Río Leza. So
I won't repeat it.
Yeah, no, don't worry. So in that village, some years ago, I think it's 10, 20 years ago. I don't really remind it, but okay, about that. There were a natural spontaneous mutation from Tempranillo, the red Tempranillo,
Yeah.
to white Tempranillo.
White Tempranillo.
Yeah. So as is the village the winery is located in,
we actually had Winhar say, please speak about Tempranillo Bianco. So this is perfect. Yeah, this is perfect then.
So we are very proud that the original mutation took place in our village. So it's amazing. So for us, it's a variety that is amazing for doing white wines. Yeah. We are sure that in some years it will become trend. It will become fashion because it's very aromatic. It's nice acidity. For me, it's a fantastic wine.
And would you keep that in stainless steel, or would that also spend time in oak?
We do it with just a little bit of oak. We do the fermentation in barrels, and then we take it out.
And then make sure you keep the aromas.
That's it. So it's like a short term in barrels, and then it's enough.
I see Maria, who is one of our wine experts, who is from Spain as well. She says Marcelo is carrion, or Spanish carinere. Is that correct?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
She was saying that your indigenous grape variety that you're experimenting with, does it also go by another name, carinere?
No, but that's another. That's
variety. Another grape.
Yeah, that's it.
So it is a different grape from that. Okay, so great.
In fact, Tempranillo Blanco, there is only one clone. You know, when you have the vine, the clone developed, the white Tempranillo developed in only one shoot.
Yes. So, and then as soon as you plant it again, it becomes something else.
You can cut the shoot and then plant it. So you can do it a lot of times to take the variety. But there is one clone of this variety, original from Murillo. So it's kind of wonderful because there is something that only happens once in centuries. Yeah. And in some way, we in Rioja pick it up. So it's amazing. It's nature and it's fantastic.
Yes. Maria, we're not speaking about the Tempranillo Bianco, right? We're talking about the red wine.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So I'm seeing a lot of questions come in that I just wanted to check. Oh, some people didn't even know that there was white wine in Rioja, so that's really exciting to share. And you can always come to Humble Grape to see and taste that. Tonight, if you purchased a winemaker case to drink along with us, we are drinking two different Paco Garcias. One is the Cies, and maybe you can hold that up, Daniel, with the purple label.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the purple one, and also we are going
that
to...
one is the 6.
The 6.
Yeah, is the translation of 6.
And then also we have the crianza. And I think if let us know if anyone is drinking Paco Garcia, or what you may be drinking. Maybe you're drinking something else tonight. Do let us know what you may have in your glass. But I think this is a good introduction to, maybe you can help share with our viewers about crianza, reserva, gran reserva, all of these words that we hear tossed around. And especially in the UK, we get a lot of red wine, not always from Rioja, but from Spain, that will slap the words crianza on there or gran reserva on there, and to make it look maybe more premium than it is. But maybe you can help decipher what all of these words mean.
Yeah, of course. So if any of you knows the answer, you can write it there. So
okay. So if you know how long it needs to be in oak for a crianza, put it in your comments, and then maybe Daniel can talk about the first one to start with.
Yeah. So as you talk about, Rioja has the wines classified in generic wines. So you can know because of that label. The color of that label says what kind of wine you have.
Green.
So, the green wine is like young wine, young.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the red wine is for crianza.
Oh.
So it's an easy way to know which kind of wine you are drinking.
So if you're a reader or more oriented to colors and designs, you both know. You'll both know. Both types of learners will know. So we have some answers for how much time crianza has to be in oak. But first, you had mentioned about the Joven, or the basic Rioja, the green label. And that doesn't need to be in oak at all, right?
That's it.
And that's why your SACE is quite special, because you're telling all of us 6. So even though it doesn't have to be in oak at all, you are letting us know that even though it's an entry level wine, that actually we put it in oak for 6 months. So enjoy.
Because we realized that having the wine in the oak for 6 months, it gives the wine a little bit of complexity, a better feeling in the mouth, but it lets grapes and all the fruit to be there.
It's still there.
So it's fantastic.
We did a really geeky pairing with SACE with a London perfumer called Miller Harris. So they make organic perfumes using natural scents and things like that. And we actually paired one of their wines with SACE, and it was the most perfect pairing ever, because the perfume, if anyone follows, is called Blousy, but it was because it was all just juice, like refreshing summertime juice, and it was just, it's for everyone, it's for friends, and it's a great introduction of the quality you can get from Rioja at a really affordable price.
Yeah, that's it. Because we think that a wine has to be amazing. It doesn't matter if it's young, crianza, whatever. So we try to do our best in each wine we do. So,
in everything.
Yeah. So, I absolutely love to drink it in summer, for example, because it's so refreshing, it's so easy drinking. Yeah. It's dangerous because I usually end the bottle up.
And in this case, we have Tempranillo, and we also have Grenache.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. And what's the percentage in this case?
It's like 90% Tempranillo, 10% Garnacha, because Tempranillo is an original variety from Rioja. So we think that it has to be the main variety. But Garnacha is nice because it's so fruity. So it gives the wine like more depth. for
Yeah.
saying that. So they are nice, a nice pair.
So we have a lot of correct answers from our question. Moving on to crianza, how long does the wine have to be in oak? And Larissa, first one in is correct. It has to be in oak for 12 months. And this is not just a Paco Garcia thing. This is a legal requirement from Rioja that if it's called a crianza, it has to be in oak for 12 months.
Yes. So a crianza has to be 12 months, but some people wrote there 6 months. That's correct for white wines. That's not typical,
trick
but
question.
you could find white crianza wines.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and that's 6 months at least.
Okay, so different legal requirements for red wine and white wine. That's very important for us wine geeks to remember. So not only what's really interesting about Rioja is, or what I love the most is it's like decided that us as wine drinkers, we're going to drink anything that's on the shelf. If it's put on the shelf, we're going to drink it. And what you have done as a legal action is we're going to keep it in the bottle until it's ready to drink. Because we know you can't be trusted out there. You're going to drink anything that goes on the shelves. But that's just how I always remembered it. So I know anything that I find on the shelves is going to be the best at that time. So with crianza, I know that legally it has to be kept in barrel for 12 months if it's a red wine, as you mentioned. And then how long does it have to stay in bottle before it's released to the stores?
Okay, so that depends on legally, the wine has to be at least 12 months in barrel, but 2 whole years in the winery.
2 years?
Yeah.
Total?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So what we do, we work with the wine every year. Every year you have different grapes, but you want to have like the same amazing wine. So what we do is we work in the winery, so the wine is ready to be drunk just when you buy it from the shop.
I love it. You do the thinking for me.
That's it. You can keep it, but it's ready to drink. The goal is that, as I said in the beginning, you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to know if you have to store the bottle for 2 years before you drink it or whatever. So the goal of the winery is to have all the wines ready so people can enjoy it.
So Rioja, well, maybe specifically Paco Garcia, is a really good entry world to the world of red wine, because you're telling me that it's the best in Spain, top wine producing, but it's also moving to more of an approachable wine drinking styles, specifically with Paco Garcia. But then also because of the legal requirements, we know that the things that hit the shelves are ready to drink. We don't have to wait, that they're at the best expression for themselves. So this is a great step into wanting to learn about all things red wine.
Yeah, it's our ethics. So I think people is getting the idea, and people is supporting us. So it's really nice for all of us.
Yeah. So I think I've been teasing with this hand for a long time, and I've been seeing lots of comments on really nice design. Tell us the story with the hand. And I want to know, it's been asked that I ask you, whose hand is it? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about this design.
The hand is the hand of Francisco. So he's the first generation of Paco Garcia, the founder of the winery.
Oh, so the one that owned the land.
That's it. And the one who built the winery and who did all the hard work. So
Francesco.
We can be here talking right now.
So this is the birth of Paco Garcia.
That's it. So for us, it's a tribute for him and his wife. They both built the winery with their hard work. And it's also a tribute to all the work we have to do in the vineyard.
Yeah.
Because wine, I think, in my opinion, wine should be like a very artisan drink. So we work very hard in the vineyard the whole year. We try to do the most work we can do with our hands, and so we try to avoid the use of tractors and everything. So, for example, nowadays some people is harvesting with a machine, with a harvester. But now we keep harvesting, picking the grapes by hand. Yeah, that's it. So it's part of our ethics, our philosophy. So I think it's nice that the first thing that people gets about the winery is that symbol that I think is so nice for us.
I couldn't agree more that as wine drinkers, we need to be reminded often how many people truly went into this bottle. It's everyone, and it's all year long. It's even though harvest is a very fast couple of weeks, I'm sure you don't sleep at all, but it's the choices you're making all year long. And the fact that it's hands-on, it's hand harvested, it's family, it's a birthmark. And I love that it's consistent. You have a very strong brand. So it's very romantic even.
Thank you.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. And then I wanted to highlight something else on your bottle, which I thought was quite cool, is I might actually even change the camera because you have this wonderful diagram that seems to be maybe something else that has come from your research lab about how what to expect from this wine, and perhaps if it's going to be something that matches your interests. Can you tell me a bit more about that diagram?
Yes, so we make one diagram for each wine because we always say what I talked you about before, that you don't need to be an expert and everything.
Yeah.
But some people still ask, okay, I don't need to be an expert, but it's pretty, I don't know, it's
but
what kind of
I,
aroma
I know what I
get.
like.
That's
yeah.
It. That's
yeah.
it.
I may not be an expert, but I know I like fruity, or I may not be an expert, but I know I don't like fruity.
That's it. So it's like a fast way to look at the label and know if you are liking the wine, or if you prefer. For example, you will see that the diagrams of Crianza and Six, they are different. So you can just look at both and say, okay, I prefer Six, whatever. So the idea is to make things easier for people that drink sour wine.
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy to have you here and to have your wines at Humble Grape, because it's everything that we want to do for the drinker. We want the person just to come in and say, I know that I like wine, but I don't maybe know why, and that's okay. And then let's start tasting things, and let's start telling stories and have a good time.
That's it. Yeah.
So I have Chanel Owen wants to know, why often do you get crystals on the cork? Specifically, she got crystals on the cork for the Sace, but I don't know, maybe you can talk about what happens in the bottle.
Yeah, okay. So we try to avoid the use of chemicals in wine or whatever. It's pretty easy to add an stabilizer. It's like a chemical product, so you can avoid the formation of those crystals. But we think that wine has to express by itself. So for us, it's not like a big deal to have the crystals, because we never show them in the bottle. So it's just a little bit of them that just stay on the cork, because I don't know. I think cork
because wine is alive.
Yeah, that's it. It's natural. So they are tartrate, they are in wine, and then they go to the cork. But
so when we get a guest that is maybe like, oh, something is in my wine, we should actually respond really positively and say, well, that's because one, it's natural, and two, they don't add any stabilizers. It's a healthy, pure wine.
Yeah, that's it. So anyway, as I told you, we never find those crystals on the bottle. So I don't know why. They tend to be on the cork, but not that much to fall down. So
interesting. Always the cork, not the bottle.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe ask your research lab why. Are your wines vegan?
Not at the moment, but we are researching to use another kind of fining agent, because you have to add some agents to clarify the wine. And we are researching now to use like peas protein and potato protein and everything. So the wines we have at the moment, they are not vegan, but probably next ones will be. The next years, yeah.
Wow. And so as the winemaker of Paco Garcia, what does your day look like right now in April, going on May? What does your day in the vineyard look like?
Okay, so for those you don't know, the vine is a seasonal crop. So it gets dormant on winter. So at winter we just prune that's it. It loses the leaves, everything. So we just prune and that's it. And now in March, April, it starts the bud burst.
Yes.
So the vine starts developing like the leaves and the flowers that will become the grapes and everything. So now for us it's time to go to every vineyard, check out everything is okay,
and make sure bud burst is happening.
That's it. And we remove all the buds we don't want to be there, because in wine, if you don't do that, you will get a lot of production, a lot of kilos of grapes. That's it. But the more grape you have, the lower quality you have.
Less flavor.
That's it. So we want to make sure that we don't have that much grape. So we have maximum quality grapes. So it's a very important work for us.
And because I don't know too much about what happens prior to wine being made, what if bud burst isn't happening? Is there something you can do to make it happen?
No, but it always happens.
It always happens.
Even, for example, some years, if there is too cold and the vine gets frozen, another bud starts going up. Yeah. So vine is an amazing crop and is very, very resistant. Yeah.
Wonderful. And then, so I guess you're also doing a lot in the cellar as well, with your research side of things.
Sorry?
Are you doing a lot in the cellar right now with research or is there anything happening in the cellar right now? Or is there all the vineyard?
Now most of the work is in the vineyard. We are bottling some wines, but we do it just the day it's raining, because when it's raining, you cannot go and work properly.
Yes.
So we go to the cellar and we just bottle
or on the
work
days
with barrels, everything.
On the day it's raining, everyone gets their muddy hands and then can do this to the labels. Wonderful. And I did see a previous question from Richie, who was asking how many people are part of your team, maybe in the vineyard, but also in the cellar.
Okay. So we are a team of 9 people.
9.
We are 9 young people. So in my opinion, that's amazing for a winery, because we all think the same. We all work together. We are a part of the same work. So it's amazing that communication goes fast and everything.
And you're not afraid of Instagram?
That's it. That's it. And then at some point, we need an extra hand. So sometimes we pick up extra people, like for harvest, for example. we pick up the grapes by hand, and harvest is like 2-3 weeks long.
Yeah.
We need more people just to do it at time and everything. But most of the time we are 9 people and doing everything by ourselves.
Oh, you just got an amazing compliment from Hadith Jamim, the best wine from the best region in the world. Lots of love. Yes.
Thank you.
I have another question for you. Is lockdown affecting this year's vintage?
Okay. So, yes, lockdown is affecting. But for us, we think that it's a time to think about everything and to grow up, to evolve. Because, bars and pubs, restaurants are closed.
Yeah.
So there's no more buying wine there.
Orders.
But the vines are still growing up. So we cannot stop that. We have to work in the vines. Vineyard is a perennial crop. So you have to work it every year. It doesn't matter what happens. So Vineyard doesn't understand if you are on lockdown or you are done. So we are working. We are still working very hard, and we hope that pass away.
Finishes, yeah. So really, your day to day is exactly the same because Mother Nature is continuing.
That's it. Yeah, the work is exactly the same. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So we as consumers, especially in the UK, know Rioja as like one region, but of course there are 3 sub-regions. Not of course, maybe new information that there's 3 sub-regions. And I know that we discussed that you have 7 vineyards. Do your 7 vineyards fall in different sub-regions?
No.
Which are Rioja Alta, Rioja, well, I know Baja was just rebranded. Rioja
that's it.
Orient?
Now it's like Oriental Rioja.
Okay, so
Rioja
I wasn't
Oriental,
sure what you were calling it. So Rioja Oriental and Rioja Avanza. Is that correct? I apologize about my accent. Alavesa, yes. So do your 7 vineyards go across different subzones?
No, all of them are located in the same place.
Yeah,
so it's just in the middle between Rioja Baja and Rioja Alta.
Okay.
But our vineyards are close to the mountains, so they are very high in altitude.
That's why they're so elegant. You hold on to the acidity and freshness.
That's it. So it's an amazing location. I like to think in Rioja. I know it may be a little bit complex for those that don't know the region, but Rioja has 7 valleys. So each valley has different climatic conditions and everything. So the winery and all the vineyards are located just in the place that one valley flow into another one.
Oh.
So it creates like a very special climatic conditions and
like a biosphere, like that doesn't change. It doesn't. I guess your conditions don't change that often, which is quite safe for knowing what you're going to get.
That's it. So we usually get enough rain, warm days, which is amazing for grapes, and cold wind that makes the grapes grow up healthier. So it's also amazing to make a sustainable work on the vineyard and all of that. So for me, it's located in a perfect place.
And do you visit all of the vineyards in one week, in one day? How often do you personally, as the winemaker, visit all of them?
Okay, so as they are one close to the other, they are like, I don't know, 20 kilometers away, one from the other. So it's pretty easy to go to see all of them. So at the beginning, for example, in my day by day, I go to the winery and then I decide if I have to take a look on one vineyard or all of them. But it's possible to take a look of all of them in one day.
Okay.
But just to take a look. If you have to work there, then it's
No.
impossible. Yeah.
So you're like the papa and you're just checking in on all of your kids.
That's it.
I have a new feature that I just discovered. I can ask this question. Oh, look at that. So if you have questions, you can submit them like this.
Yeah.
Do you export to other countries other than the UK and Spain? This question is specifically coming from Canada.
Okay. Currently, we are not exporting to Canada, but we are working with Switzerland, Germany, with a lot of countries. China.
USA, because maybe they can go there to get that.
We have a distributor in Puerto Rico, but not USA itself.
Okay.
So we are working on it. So I hope you can find the wines in USA or Canada soon.
Fingers crossed. Or just come back to the UK because this person used to live there. And and I'm sure that if you're looking for extra hands during harvest, I know many people that are in this group that would love to come and help you and be involved with making something so wonderful. So if you need some help during harvest, just let us know.
Yeah.
But I do just want to say that we are coming up on the end of our time, and I just wanted to let you perhaps say anything about winemaking Paco Garcia that you haven't had a chance to say, or maybe you want to reinforce before we end today.
Okay, so I think everything is clear here. If any of you have any question, I think it's the time to just ask the last question, and I will try to answer them as quick as possible.
Perfect.
And just saying that it has been a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah.
So thank you for you again, and to Humble Grape team for the opportunity of being here, chatting with you. I think it has been very interesting. So
also, I just love everything that you do because it's such a happy brand, and that makes me happy as well. And we were talking about you're putting wines on the shelves when you can drink them. And there's another cool thing on your label that says, shall I keep it? ? What for? ? I drink it. So it's important to drink and share. You should be sharing these wines with all of your closest, especially in these unusual times. So hopefully you get to share some good wine with your friends and family members. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat right now, because we do have a little bit of time, and would love Daniel to answer you directly. But if you don't want to ask your question publicly, always direct message Paco Garcia, Bodegas Paco Garcia on Instagram. Lots of questions on visiting the winery. So how can we visit, and when should we visit?
Okay, so you can visit if you come here when all of this just passes. Or I would like to show you the winery, but here we are in lockdown too, so I cannot just go there. But all of you are invited to come to Murillo and visit the winery every time you want. So we will be very, very glad to stay with you and to show you all the winery and everything. So.
Oh, that would be amazing. Well, I think you will definitely see us. Oh, I have, what influence do you take from classic Rioja, such as Muga?
Okay, so for us, Muga have made an amazing work. Actually, I was working in Muga for a harvest. So
really?
It's a winery I love. I have a really good relationship with the owners, everything. And for me, it's an amazing winery. They have made a lot of good things for Rioja. But in my opinion, they belong to the classic Rioja. So I think that if you taste both wines in the same tasting, you will feel like they are totally different wines. Both amazing, but they don't have the same fruit, the same. I think they are two different wines for two different kind of people, or two different kind of moments.
Yeah.
I love both. I love both, so I cannot say anything.
Yeah. The hardest question is always, what's your favorite wine? And the answer is always all of them, because I can find a moment to enjoy. Yes.
For me, it's pretty hard to answer my favorite wine, because I think I don't have any. I just have, of course, Paco Garcia.
Yeah.
But I think each wine has a moment, so it depends how I feel myself. I can pick up one bottle of the other. So
cool. And what can we expect from Paco Garcia in the next year, in the next 5 years? What should we be looking out for?
So we think that we are doing things right. We believe in what we do. So we expect to be growing up just doing the same that we do, because we believe in that, and we think that is the great way to do a great wine. So
I love it. I think we should leave it on that. And I just want to thank everyone. Daniel, I from the bottom of my heart, you have been absolutely amazing, and we want to support you in every way that we can, and we want to get your story out there. I think we have 1,000 other chapters to share with you, so we would love to have you
of
back.
course, whenever
and perhaps,
you want.
And I just want to thank you for your time. And thank you to everyone that has joined us today. It's been a wonderful, smooth live, no technical issues. And if you like what we're doing here, we're doing this every Tuesday at 6:15 GMT time. Next week, we'll have a winemaker from Alsace, Nicholas, hosted by Carlos. And hopefully, Daniel, we can get you back soon and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, because I love everything you have to say. Yeah. Well, thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.